Hi, we're going to solve multi-step inequalities today. These are the same steps as solving equations. So if you know how to solve an equation, you can solve an inequality. There are just a couple differences at the very end, but everything else is the same. As you can see, we clear the fractions if we need to, we distribute by multiplying, we combine like terms on the same side. Remember, we don't combine terms across the equal sign, only on the left side and then only on the right side. We're going to move the variable by adding or subtracting. We're going to undo the constant. The constant is the number that doesn't have the variable with it. And we're going to do that by adding or subtracting. Then we're going to undo the coefficient. That's the number with the variable. And we're going to do that by multiplying or dividing. So here's the golden rule to inequalities. If you multiply or divide by a negative number, you have to flip the inequality symbol. The golden rule number 2 is if you want to rewrite the answer to put the variable on the left, you have to flip the inequality symbol. Okay, so everything else is the same except when we get to the symbols. Sometimes you don't have to flip them at all. You just have to know the golden rules for when you do. So we are going to do 3 examples and I'm going to show you how this looks. So we have example 1, and it's 2x minus 4 is greater than or equal to 8. Now, I think of the equal sign as a little street, and we're just moving people and things over and over across the street, and this street just happens to have a curve in it. So it doesn't matter, it's the same thing. So no distribution, no fractions, let's see, I can't combine those terms. That only has one term, so I can't combine terms. Move the variable. I don't need to move the variable. There's only one variable. So now I'm just going to undo the constant. The constant right here is -4. So I'm going to add 4 to make it go to the other side. 8 plus 4 is 12. Now I'm ready to undo the coefficient. I'm going to do that by dividing because 2 and x are multiplying together. 2 divided by 2 is 1, which leaves x all by its lonesome self, and 12 divided by 2 is 6. Look at that. We did the same exact steps that we use to solve equations, but we did it to solve inequalities. And we didn't have to use either of the golden rules. So easy. All right, let's try this one. 3 times 2 minus 4p is less than -114. So I don't see any fractions, but I do see distribution. So I need to distribute in 6 minus 12p. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times -4p is -12p. Less than -114. Okay, I don't have any like terms on either side to combine. So on this side, p and 6 are not like terms. On this side, there's only 1, so I don't have to do that. I do, however, have to move this 6 over because now we are undoing the constant. So we get -12p is less than -120. Now we are going to undo the coefficient. Now when I undo the coefficient, what I notice is I'm about to divide by a negative number. So when I am going to divide by a negative number, I need to make sure that I flip the sign. So this becomes x is greater than +10. If I wanted to check that, I could pick any number that's greater than 10 and plug it in here for p and see if it becomes less than -114. End of story. Okay. All right, so now we're going to do example 3. This is a 2, by the way, it just didn't get written. I don't see any fractions. I do see distribution. So 102 is greater than or equal to -8 plus 12x plus 14. -8 does not multiply by anything. Please do not do addition first. Addition does not come first in PEMDAS. Parentheses does. 2 times 6x is 12x. 2 times 7 is 14. Over here, nothing to combine. Over here, I have something to combine, -8 and 14. So 102 is greater than or equal to not -8, sorry, 6 plus 12x. Okay, so then we're going to subtract 6 from both sides. That goes away. 102 minus 6 is 96. Is that right? Yeah, greater than or equal to 12x. And then we have to get rid of the coefficient, so we're going to divide by 12. And that means 8 is greater than or equal to x. Now, here's golden rule number 2. This is golden rule number 1 up here. This is golden rule number 2 down here. This is a fine answer. If you did this on my test, I'd count it right. However, on any state assessment, what they're going to ask for is for it to be written with the x on the left. Now, here is the trick. If you want to move the x to the left, you need to flip the sign over. Or what I do is I look where it points. It points at the x. That means no matter where I move the x, this sign has to point at the x. If it pointed the other way and I flipped it around, I need to point it at the 8. But in this case, this pointy end, the arrow part, points toward the x. That means when I flip it around, it needs to point toward the x. So it can be either one. Okay, I'm going to come back up to example 2 for those of you who want to stick with me. If you don't want to stick with me, you don't have to stick with me. I am just going to say that if I picked a number that was greater, I don't know why I wrote 120 right there. If I picked a number that was greater than 10 right here, because it got flipped around, let's pick something. Let's pick 20. Let me do this in another pen. I'm just going to do a check over here. So if I want something that's greater than 10, I'm going to pick x equals 20 because 20 is greater than 10. So let me just put this in. 3 times 2 minus 4 times 20 is less than -114. So I got 3 times 2 minus 80 is less than 114. 3 times -78 is less than -114. -78 times 3 is -234 is less than 114, -114. That is a true statement, okay? When it is a true statement, you know that you have done this right. If you've stayed with me for the check, awesome. Y'all have a great day.